Hello everyone and welcome back to another round of Tuesday Night Legacy. Tonight we have Mono Black Reanimator versus Naya Maverick. On the left we have William playing a Mono Black Reanimator list. Now, Reanimator is the combo strategy of discarding a large creature out of your hand like Griselbrand or Archon of Cruelty, or finding it and putting it directly into your graveyard with the 4 Entomb in your deck, and bringing it back with a more cost-effective spell like Exhume or Reanimate. Now, this deck also does run 4 Grief, another creature card that you can reanimate. You can pitch a black card out of your hand to get a discard effect like Thoughtseize and then reanimate it for a second Thoughtseize effect. And sometimes that is enough to get you there just with a little 3-2 Menace. This deck also runs Liliana the Veil, which is an excellent discard outlet in case you have that creature you need to reanimate in your hand. And it also punishes the opponent by having them discard or sacrifice creatures. Now, since everybody has a couple of slots dedicated in their sideboard to the Reanimator strategy or something that punishes the graveyard, William has opted to go with a transformative sideboard, bringing in 4 Dothy Voidwalker, 2 Opposition Agent, 2 Shieldred the Apocalypse, a couple Umezawa's Jite, and the spiciest of spicy, Phyrexian Obliterator, that 5/5 with trample, for 4 black. Since he is mono black, this does just cost 4, or a Dark Ritual plus 1 more mana, and is one of the coolest creatures in Magic in my opinion. On the other side of the board, we have Ben, our local Maverick player, sporting a Naya Maverick list, which does in fact run a 1 of Comet Stellar Pup, which seems like a joke, but has been doing a lot of work at our local meta with rolling this 6-sided die and getting all of these different types of effects. This is not the only Planeswalker in the deck, though. Of course, you have your Minsk and Boo, which has cemented itself as a card draw engine that can also deal with a lot of problematic permanents. The Maverick deck, of course, runs the 4 Green Sun Zenith to find a toolbox of green creatures out of the deck, most notably the Endurance and Knight of the Reliquary. The newest green creature addition is the Mawloc from the Warhammer set, which enters the battlefield and fights a creature and actually exiles it as well. Another new addition is the Haywire Might to be able to get rid of a Cauldron Complete for 1 green mana. And then Ben's added spice here is 4 Ethersworn Canonists to just punish the heck out of any combo deck that's trying to win on turn 2 or turn 3. It says, no, you will play at my speed. We will take 1 turn at a time. So overall, this is just a grind fest that Ben is trying to win through creature damage, with Knight of the Reliquary having huge creatures and just having better card selection than you with things like Sylvan Library and Fable of the Mirror Breaker. So with all of that out of the way, let's get this game started. We have William on the play here, deciding that he is going to pay 1 black mana to Thoughtseize Ben. Of course, Thoughtseize being take your best card out of your hand that's not a land. Taking that Swords to Plowshares, trying to make sure that he has the strategy. If he's going to reanimate, say, a Griselbrand, he's going to need to be able to keep that creature in play. We see an Entomb here, finding a creature in his deck, finding a card in his deck, and putting it in his graveyard. We are going for Griselbrand. Griselbrand reanimating. So he's going to lose 7 life. 8 life? 8 life to get Griselbrand onto the battlefield. But once he does, he can pay 7 more life to draw 7 more cards. And we're going to see a Chrome Mox exiling another Griselbrand. A Dark Ritual for 3 mana, another Entomb. That Entomb off on the side here is also in the graveyard, but we saw the Archon of Cruelty come in, so making Ben discard a card, sacrifice a creature, lose 3 life, and then William got to draw a card and gain 3 life. And Ben decided with those 2 creatures on the battlefield that was just too much advantage, especially with no spot removal. We are on to game 2. So at this point, I believe William has transformed his deck, trying to make sure that he won't get punished, because we see Ben already with that turn 1 Soul Guide Lantern being able to exile each opponent's graveyard just by tapping and sacrificing it. Basically has that Tormod's Crypt effect. And we see off a Dark Ritual and a Lotus Petal, 2 Dothy Voidwalkers onto the battlefield. So these will be exiling Ben's graveyard, and he'll be crashing for 6 every turn. Because they have Shadow, they cannot be blocked. They also can't block, but it doesn't really matter. We're seeing a Reanimate for a Knight of the Reliquary. Just a 2/2, and I don't believe William has any planes or forests in his deck, but at least it's another creature. And we see Ben, 3 mana available to him. He's got the Dryad in hand and a green Sun Zenith, so that means he can go and get the Mawloc. So we'll see what he gets for CMC2 here. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Mawloc to be able to kill one of these Dothy Voidwalkers. There he is. So this is going to come into field, and it's going to exile that Dothy Voidwalker by fighting it. So he could have paid more if he had the mana for it. Obviously, going and finding it, it's going to die, but that's okay. We see the Knight of the Reliquary attack, a lot of chump blockers, the Dryad Arbor, and the Haywire Might trading there, going to exile. So Dothy just crashing in here. And William just not drawing anything. We see him exiling another Dothy. A Force of Vigor before the exile trigger resolves, I guess. So William keeps the second Dothy in his hand. Just a Birds of Paradise, 4 mana, and we're going to see a Minsk and Boo. Now this card by itself can completely change the pace of the game, making this 1/1 hamster each turn. The +1 effect puts 3 +1/+1 counters on a creature. And it gains trample and haste. Trample or haste, excuse me. Now what happened here? I think we're looking at the graveyard. Or we're looking at the exile pile because all of these cards are exiled. Due to the Dothy's effect. 3 damage, 4 damage coming through from this hamster. From this Boo. 3 more damage. William just hoping that he's going to close out the game in 3 turns, but with Boo already being a 7/7, finally getting to draw a second land at the 8th turn of the game, deciding instead to play another Dothy Voidwalker and kill Minx. And that's it. Just needed to turn Boo sideways, and we are on to game 3. Seeing a fetch land into a Noble Hierarch, being able to ramp and have that Exalted trigger. It's been a staple of not only Modern, but also Legacy for as long as it's been printed. A Liliana of the Veil, turn 1 with a Dark Ritual into sacrifice a creature. Another Noble Hierarch. I think this is a Maze of Ith, looks like. Yeah, we got a Maze of Ith in the sideboard. Being able to untap creatures. Make it so that they're not attacking. A Grief exile is going to take an Endurance. William hoping to hold on to his graveyard a little bit longer. We're seeing an Animate Dead, which is going to bring back the Grief. Discarding a Soul Guide Lantern. Or not a Soul Guide Lantern, but a Shadow Spear. Although... oh, there was a discard effect as well. So maybe it was the Swords to Plowshares that got discarded by William and the Shadow Spear discarded by Ben. So Ben just holding on to an Ethersworn Canonist and another green Sun Zenith. He does not have a whole lot of mana here. Did get to draw a fetch land, so we are going for a 0. Basically just throwing down the whole hand, getting the Dryad Arbor in play for a green Sun Zenith for 0, and getting the Ethersworn Canonist in play. Was that an animate dead or a reanimate? Bringing endurance onto William's side, plussing up, and then just holding back. So both of these players are completely hellbent. That Maze of Ith actually doing some work here. A Green Sun Zenith for 3. Probably going to get a Naya the Reliquary, I would guess. Maybe an Endurance. Naya the Reliquary being very small, but it would give Ben some action in case he just like draws lands or something. So there it is. Naya the Reliquary. Going to be able to sacrifice these forests and plains, turn them into more useful lands, maybe an Urza Saga. Maybe a Wasteland, not sure. So we're doing some blocks, some trades, untapping creatures. Clear up the board a little bit. Now all that's left is the Endurance for William, Naya the Reliquary, and Noble Hierarch for Ben. Another Animate Dead is going to bring Grief back once again. Oh, a little bit of a reverse here. Looks like trades didn't happen exactly the same way. Maybe a minus down for Liliana getting rid of the Dryad Arbor before attacks. A little bit of damage getting through with the Grief untapping the Endurance. William really thinking about what he's going to do here. Hasn't cast a spell yet this turn. 2 mana. He's got another Animate Dead. So he's trying to decide, is it really worth it? If I Animate Dead this Dryad Arbor, it's going to get -1. -1, -0. So now he's just got an 0-1 Dryad Arbor. I guess he technically has 3 mana, at least. Throws Endurance in front of it. The Naya the Reliquary attacking because it is smaller. But Ben uses his own Maze of Ith to untap the Naya the Reliquary. Giving it pseudo-vigilance, although it did not deal damage. A Dark Ritual discarded as well as a land discarded for the Liliana ticking up. So now we're getting a lot of lands into the graveyard. We got 5. This is our 3 lands in the grave. So 5/5. Naya the Reliquary. Crashing at Lily. Pops up to a 6/6. Decides to throw away the Grief. And we're seeing a second Naya the Reliquary. This is quickly running out of control for William here. Drawing a Shadow Spear off the top, and that is going to push through enough damage that William concedes the game for Game 3, and the match goes to Ben. So it looks like William tried to play fair in Games 2 and 3, but that's exactly where Naya Maverick likes to live. So William was not quite able to beat Ben at his own game. Ben takes it 2-1. If you guys are watching this the day this is released, you should check out our live stream at Tuesday Night Legacy on Twitch tonight. It's going to be at 7:30 p.m. on Pacific Standard Time. We hope to see you there. And like I always say, thanks for watching. Please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel if you want to see more of this content in the future. We have a bunch more of these on the channel, so go check out our backlog to see some other premium content. If you're curious about a deck you saw played here, the deck lists are always in the description of the video below. Thanks as always to Spellhold Games for letting us play at their store, and we'll see you next time for some more Magic content on Tuesday Night Legacy. Bye!